low scale on my worst night. I'm the best nigga, wouldn't mess with you, couldn't cap to him. Homie spotted me like 700, brought 1100 right back to him. If I can't do it, then it ain't real. I just make dollars, I don't make deals. I've been going hard in the paint, still blowing kush clouds till I can't feel. Like ride with me, if you ride with me, you can slide with me.
Ladies, gentlemen, everyone in that wonderful Technicolor in between, it's Tuesday, my favorite day of the week. The sun was shining. I think it started raining actually pretty badly. All of the new patches are starting to come out. We've got 2612 on the horizon. We get a new champion release, but most importantly of all, it's Vanquisher Tuesday. I'm What's Your Pretty, and joining me today, unfortunately, my co-caster Golden Guy could not be here today, had some prior obligations, so we have Loki Bear filling in for, at the very least, the draft, as our other caster Romeo did also have some pre-planned obligations that will make him arrive a little bit late, but we promise that he will be here at some point. But for now, we get blessed with Loki for, at minimum, the draft.
Hello! I'm pumped for this draft here. Like, I just want to see, like, what wild picks we are drawing tonight, because I am totally unprepared with these teams.
Yeah, we do have teams that have been ranked pretty fairly highly coming into the split overall. They ended up both coming out with a win last week, so both of them still trying to keep away from that first loss. But so far, the teams have looked good. Flash Syndicate had a little bit more trouble in their matchup, but based off the content I read from Dwam, and if you're a Vanquisher fan and you haven't read that content from Dwam, you really should. Good write-ups.
Should check it out.
Apparently, Theory of Everything Absolute Zero maybe was a little bit underrated coming into this split. So perhaps they had a little bit tougher competition than we would have expected, but Boomers Over Zoomers did have a 2-0 victory for themselves. So again, both these teams coming in, I think, fairly high expectations for themselves as we're in the draft here. We've got Aurora, Akali, Yorick already banned away alongside Pantheon and Aatrox, with that last ban waiting to come in for Flash Syndicate. It is going to be that Diana.
Diana did recently get buffed, if I'm not mistaken, which she's been pretty strong on the Rift, so I'm not surprised to see that banned away.
She did get a skin, so it's pretty safe that at the very least when a skin comes out, you can kind of just like guesstimate within the last couple of patches that the champion got buffed. Riot thinks they're slick. We all know what's going on. It is going to be Ezreal as that first pick for the bottom side. I like it as just a safe blind first pick. I think there are better picks like that Varus, even though he is getting nerfed in 2612. It's not 2612 yet. We're still on 2611. Varus, he's still really good, both in on-hit and on lethality, so kind of that versatility that is so important for bottom lane. And speaking of champions that will be getting nerfed to next patch, Sinja, they're nerfing his AP build because, my god, the amount of healing is way too much.
It's a terror on the Rift. It is like the absolute bane of my existence as a support, I'll tell you that one.
Especially when your team just won't build anti-heal because they expect someone else to do it and nobody does. But it's fine because these players are, I'm going to call them professionals, and they know how to communicate with each other.
They're amateur professionals, yes.
Amateur professionals, that's actually the perfect way to put it. So, you know, one of them should be able to get anti-heal at some point. I do also like Boomers Over Zoomers opting for just the very early mid-jungle here. What I assume is going to be mid-jungle, as that Yasuo technically could go top, but we haven't seen top Yasuo in some time. The Wukong Yasuo is a great all-in dive composition, and when you're playing against Varus, you need something that's going to threaten him.
We do have the Victor, so I'm guessing like it is going to be mid lane Yasuo if we're choosing to answer it with Victor, who I think has maintained like being fairly decent in the meta over the past few patches.
Yeah, he's, I think I described it last week as he's kind of a stat stick champion where if he has the numbers, he's going to win the fight, but if he doesn't have the numbers, he's going to lose it. There's not a lot of, like, real outplay potential. You're not going to be able to, like, do some insane wombo combo to try and outplay your opponent. You're playing Victor. You're going to press the buttons in the order that they're supposed to be pressed. And if you have better stats than your opponent, you're going to win.
Oh, no, we banned the child.
No Melio, no Poppy, no
We were just
Bell,
talking about
no
that on the break.
Yes, talking about the woes of solo climbing as supports, but it is going to be Nautilus. I like that pairing for Flash Syndicate with the Varus. It's good engage tools. It keeps your Varus safe. It is also just an engage tool that Flash Syndicate is kind of lacking. I'd like to see them draft some other go-in in top lane, maybe something like a Malphite or an Ornn, since they need a little bit more frontline to support the Varus and the Victor, and especially the Xin Zhao that is going to be diving with them, as it's going to be a Zac lock-in. So I wonder, actually, is that going to be Zac top or Wukong top?
I'm guessing it's going to be Zac top, because I have seen that quite like frequently is Zac returning to the top lane, and then we have a Skarner, which
Are
means
we getting Zac versus Skarner top lane?
I think it's gonna be Xin Zhao versus Zac. If I'm gonna be honest with you, I think it's Xin Zhao top. I've seen it quite a bit. I don't know if Skarner really has a place in the top lane, but I mean, I could be wrong. This could be a top lane Skarner, but
AP Xin Zhao top lane
oh my
or Skarner
gosh,
top lane?
It
Skarner
is
top
Skarner
lane.
top. Okay.
When he initially got reworked, it was kind of flavorful to take him up top lane just because his dueling power was pretty high for all of the health scaling. ES Jolts, who coming into this match, and especially coming out of last week, was noted to be one of the power points for Flash Syndicate. I think Dwam described it pretty perfectly. Flash Syndicate wins if Jolt does well, and if Jolts doesn't do well, Flash Syndicate loses. So putting Jolts on a pick that they are comfortable with, at the very least I assume they're comfortable enough with to be last pick, counter-picking it versus that Zac. It is a tankier pick, but Skarner is a champion that has agency, which I think is the important part.
Alright, this should be an interesting match. I'm still stuck on the Skarner top. I'm sorry, like I haven't seen it, so I'm gonna be interested. I'm really gonna I'm counting on Jolts to pull this through, so
Gonna have to see how he pulls it out on this game number 1 as we get down onto the Rift. I'm so curious to see how they actually manage to play around it, I think is my thing for this particular matchup, because normally when you have this tank versus tank topside, you're not really like expressly playing around it, as I'm gonna put that on pause as we have some aggression level 1. Boomers over Zoomers bullying the substitute AD carry. Flash Syndicate without their ADC Lian in this game number 1 match, having to step in as an emergency substitute. And immediately just getting bullied out level 1? That never feels good.
that's rough. Alright.
For now, just getting ourselves... I expect it to be a little bit slower of a early game at the very least without any sort of jungle influence. Top laners will trade their grass procs. Junglers will path around. We'll see some poke in the bottom lane as Heart already taking quite a bit of punishment, but it seems like we're going to have some time to breathe here.
Alright, my co-caster, Romeo, did show up here, so I am going to bow out gracefully, but you guys have a wonderful cast, and Romeo, welcome in.
We appreciate you stepping in, Loki. Hope you have a great rest of your evening, taking care of all the Vanquisher scrubs that you have to do. But Romeo, welcome to the cast. Unfortunately,
hey!
Draft, but we're happy to have you here.
I'm happy to be here. I was a little bit late. We're working on editing someone's play, and now we're here. I'm hyped. It's Vanquisher League. It's week 2. We got Boomers over Zoomers taking on Flash Syndicate, and this should be a banger matchup. I mean, I'm looking at these drafts right now live. I love Flash Syndicate's draft minus the Skarner. I think the Skarner's a bit troll, but I also think the Zac...
The Skarner was 5th pick, red side, last pick, counter to this Zac. So this is something that Jolts at the very least believes in.
Is that a good matchup?
I mean, Skarner top used to be... It was kind of flavorful for a short amount of time post-rework, so I wonder if it's just something Jolts has some comfort with in this particular matchup, or maybe this is Mega Awesome Pig calling out, hey, you're going to pick a tank, so I'm going to grab a better tank.
You know what's really funny? I'm looking at u.gg right now, because that's where I get all my sources. And Skarner versus Zac is an awful matchup until you hit Diamond, like high-tier Diamond, like Diamond 2 and up. And then it becomes a 54% favored matchup for Skarner according to statistics.
Interesting.
So I guess if you know how to play it, it's probably good. I mean, to be fair, it's a tank. It fits the team comp well. I mean, look, you can't go wrong with a point-and-click impale and just dragging them across the map. The thing is, I do think that the draft on Boomers over Zoomers is really strong, right? Like, you have Wukong knockups to, like, help facilitate Yasuo. You have Zac's knockups to help facilitate Yasuo. Meanwhile, Ezreal and Braum kind of peel back. I don't... Oh, wait
Jolts getting Mega Awesome Pig very low. Still hanging on to that passive. No, it will tick away thanks to the Skarner passive. So, pretty big loss there. Zac will be able to get some health back at the very least, but that's a rough early one to lose if you're not getting anything back.
I mean, yeah, like, let's talk about that. You annihilate Zac's passive at level 4 into what, like, doesn't seem like it'd be a great matchup, but is. Zin's obviously on the side. I don't know if we're going to see Zin try to follow up. He hasn't done Flash yet.
He's going to look for it, but Jolts has to be a little careful. No health, no mana, but with the jungler in the area, flash forward from Pig. He's going to get it first blood with the slap to the face, and not important, doesn't have the damage with Fire Pig in the area. and the gank gets turned around beautifully by the Boomers over Zoomers top laner. Now the trade on the bottom side is Madge. Had the lethal tempo stack, barrier in for the Ezreal. He'll be able to survive for a little bit longer, but Hart should just be able to one more auto finish it off. Messy scalpels across the map, and it'll end up being 2 for 2 across the board.
So a lot has just happened here, right? Zach survives the 2v1. I mean, it was a little bit interesting to make that play. You need to know you have the damage. We don't know where Wukong is. We see Wukong appear, so we made the correct decision to leave after Stunner died. But we had already gotten so much, right? We got the passive. We just back, we take the fight again. We don't need to do that. I mean, Zin's happy. Like, right now in this meta, let's face it, Zin's more of a mid-game champion than an early-game champion. Once you have Dusk and Dawn, you're way stronger than you are right now until this new patch goes through. On the other side, Ezreal finding a kill on Varus and, like, the 2-for-1 trade. An interesting bot side play. We obviously didn't really get to see what happened down there until the end of that fight because of how much was going on top side. But I think Varus set themselves up in a really nice way. The lockdown of these two is so strong, too. I feel like Flash Syndicate, I favored the draft for the sake that, like, their lockdown incredible. And, I mean, Boomers didn't really draft a lot of AP. Their consistent damage comes from the Yasuo. I mean, you had true damage with the Yasuo, but, like, Skarner, Nautilus, and even Zin, if you build it right, has so much potential to just, like, not die. You have a lot of lockdown.
Happy to build armor.
Yeah, so it's like, I fear for Boomers playing this game.
In a little bit of trouble here. 4v4 down here on the bottom side. Homegrown Talent is going to miss that tornado, but now in with the Chaos Storm is Penguin, but the piercing arrow from downtown Madge will find the Yasuo. Fireping now the one in trouble. His Heart is just going to set up this kill for his team. Maybe we'll die for it. Makes the exchange. Not important. We'll find that last hit. And you know what? That's MVP support behavior. Die to get your teammate the kill. That's how you do it.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, and, like, Fire Pig down for Dragon now. Dragon should be pretty free if they want to take it. They'd rather just, like, go for a lead on Zin. Chill, too. Oh!
Has to flash that Winter's Bite from Jean-Marquis.
A very nice flash.
Yeah, good holding it. Absolutely had to use it.
Yeah, and, I mean, it's a flash that keeps you alive. You're up 2-1. Varus looking very strong. And I think the other issue we're going to see with, like, Boomer's draft, the more I look at it, despite, like, one, lack of AP and Vanquisher is a little insane. But also, you're kind of in this weird issue where they're going to scale on the sense that, like, yes, you do true damage, but they're still going to be able to build that armor. Victor scares really well. Zin's become more of a mid-game champion, so he's going to do well. Varus is going to do well. And your skirmish potential is, like, a little difficult for the sake that, I mean, Ezreal, Braum, Wukong. Ezreal, Braum, Wukong doesn't seem like they're going to win Zin, Varus, Nautilus. And then on top of that, like, I feel like your team does two different things. Zac and Yasuo want to go in. They want to cause chaos. They want to annihilate. Wukong can do either. Wukong can either go in or peel. And then Ezreal and Braum want to poke. And it's like, there is a world where we get the poke damage off, and then we go in and all in. There is a world that happens. But your only poke, really, is Ezreal Braum. I don't know if that's enough damage until the 30-35 minute mark that I can call this a poke comp. Because to me, it feels like you take someone like a Kaisa or a Samira here in the bot side. I don't, again, wasn't here for the draft. But if you're going to draft Yasuo, Wukong, Zac, well, then I don't think you draft Zac Yasuo.
Yeah, the order was Ezreal, and then it was Wukong, Yasuo, and then it was the Braum, and then it was Zac.
Was Karma banned here?
I think so. I think the second phase bans were...
Second phase?
Yeah, second phase bans I think were Karma Melio and Rel Alistar. That was it.
I don't know if Homegrown plays it, but I feel like in the first phase, instead of the Yasuo, you lock in Karma, and you either play Ezreal or Karma, or you pull out the Karma mid. And
Karma mid, I think, is high-key underrated.
Exactly. Yeah, fully agreed. Like, I think Karma top's a little bait, but Karma mid I think is really good. And then you set up for that poke comp. And I think that's such a bait that, like, that really affects things. Like, in Diamond, in Emerald, you can get away with having, like, you can get away with having these, like,
little bit of buffer there.
These weaker drafts. But, like, in Vanquisher, you're gonna get punished. And, like, that Skarner pick, I'm assuming the Skarner was R5. That Skarner pick, on top of being this, like, surprise counter pick even for, like, the both of us to realize, it does so much into countering their draft. It's like locking a Rammus here, right? Like, it's like, how do you kill Skarner late? And you're going to have to get through Skarner with the way your comp plays to get to Victor, to get to Varus. Because if you try to flank, you're gonna get locked down. So how do you get through the Skarner late game? And it puts BOZ on a clock they don't want to be on.
Yeah, I think they are really relying on the later the Ruin King Yasuo for homegrown talent to be able to shred these HP bars and be like a good consistent source of physical damage, and then say, hey, Ezreal, Zac will have at least some magic damage to them. Ezreal will do higher damage with the W and with the R. He is still mostly physical damage, but he does enough higher that you can consider him in that race. And Zac, he's all magic damage, essentially. So you're kind of just hoping that you have enough there, but again, yeah, I don't know. I feel like they are really missing some magic damage here, and yeah, I agree. Something like, even honestly, like a Maokai or an Ornn just for a little bit more magic damage than I think Zac puts out at this stage of the game, really could have been good for them, as nice little ward there is going to spot out Fire Ping on that rotate.
Yeah. It was Poppy and Milioband, not Karma.
Yes, it was Poppy Milia, not Karma. I'm trolling my memory.
No, that's so valid. I mean, I think it's insane to leave Karma up. I think, like, you see the Ezreal locked in.
You see Ezreal, yeah, no Karma ban.
I mean, I guess Zin ended up being in the later stage of the draft, so, like, I guess less of that. But, like,
Zin, I think, was on the second pick of Flash Syndicate, actually.
Oh! Brother, you see... both sides.
Every bit more information you get from this draft is just making you more and more mad.
Draft, I get it. Dog Emerald player who just got relegated to Platinum on like a tilt queue. But like, you either draft Karma away and have it paired with the Zin, because I'm a Zin main. If I see a Karma or a Seraphine locked in, I'm beaming. Like, we've won the game. Or do you lock it in, or do you like ban it, right? And they didn't do that, and we still let them go. Oh my god.
The Impale, let's bounce past there as well. So much healing from this Zac, though. He's going to be able to stay alive for so long. Not important finally in the area, but they still haven't burned through the passive. Flash away, the Wind Becomes Lightning will not tag, and Mega Awesome Pig will survive the scuffle again in the 2 versus 1, just not feeling too threatened.
I will say, not to be the caster who rags on teams, but I'm a color caster. If Seder taught me anything, shout out to Seder. This is my job.
Our goat, Seder.
Our goat, missed that guy. I believe he's developing a game right now, and when that comes out, I'm going to force Sems to post in chat. Yeah, so, like, I think one of the things we're seeing here is Zin is putting so much prior on this top side. One, we didn't gank when the passive was down, but...
In a bit of trouble here. Glacial Fissure finds 2. Madge trying to output the damage. Death Charge will get the Aftershock off her heart, but now Madge is the one in trouble. Oh! Piercing Arrow, though, does plenty of damage to those low health targets, and now with the barrier, Madge takes him down. A double kill for the Flash Syndicate AD carry.
See, and brilliant. Like, they did everything they needed to do there. I mean, like, they overstepped a little bit is what led to that play, but they're so accelerated that they know they need to be pressuring these fights. And I'll take a team that's going to pressure their lead more than I'm going to take a team that's like, oh, I'm sitting back afraid to make a mistake. Yeah, that play might have been a mistake, but your wallet is so large right now that you can get away with stuff like that. And it's just a great lockdown. You do everything you need to do. We're going to go ahead and take a look at it again. Like, look, they're stepping up here, and obviously Nautilus goes for that hook, misses, is a bit overextended. But Braum is kind of far away from his Ezreal. Ezreal is more damage than anyone expects. But that depth charge, they have so many options here to just peel back. And when you're into a team that, like, is a poke comp and you can just peel back away from them, it's very damning. And now, Varus is going to be 4-1, right? Like, Ezreal tried to poke his way and then go for it all in. You don't do the damage, the two of you. And that's going to be the same problem we see in the team fight.
Side. There's that Impale again. Schultz trying to stay alive in this 2v2, but the Starner is just not tanky enough. Fire Ping will pick that up. Penguin on the rotate. They'll finally get that Zac passive. It's not important. It's going to use the Crescent Guard, but here comes the last breath. Homegrown talent now in the fight. A 2v2 has broken out again. Mega Awesome Pig will finally die, but not important will as well, getting shutdown gold over to the Yasuo. Homegrown talent on a nice rotate following Penguin. It's a 2-for-2, tops for jungles, both sides.
I mean, I'm trying to decide who this play benefits more. I mean, you get to burn the Zac passive. Victor gets the kill, Yasuo gets the kill. I think, honestly, that was a very even play for both these teams. I think both of these teams are happy with what happened. I mean, I think Victor obviously getting kills and like assists is very useful for him, so it might benefit him a little more than the Yasuo, but it's still like a pretty even play. I think one thing that's been very bait for Flash Syndicate, that they could be accelerating their lead even more, is sending Xin bot into the top. Because, like, we'll watch here, like, Xin is the reason this play ends up going right. Like, Skarner's beating up this Zac. And I feel like Xin is trying to do this like counter jungle style where we're like waiting for Wukong. And he does find it here. This is the first time this game he has found that counter jungle. But there's so much heal coming out of this Zac that if like Wukong and Zac are here in isolation, they're going to win the 2v2 probably every time, even on a counter engage. The 3v3, they win. The Vladimir does enough damage. They have that AP damage to burn through the tanks. But with Xin and Skarner alone, it's a very hard fight to play. Obviously, Xin heals a lot as well. I think both these teams are going to benefit from heal cut, which is what we're seeing from this fight. Shutdown does go over to Yasuo, so maybe it is a bit of a good Yasuo play.
Oh, last breath. They found the jungler. Not important. Instantly deleted. Mega Awesome Pig on the rotate here before Jolts is. Now the Skarner with that teleport shield is up in front, looking to try and do some damage. Hart trying to get some CC up, and Mega Awesome Pig back into the backline. And there's Homegrown Talent as well. They found the Varus. They've shut him down. Jolts gets the Impale up, but it's too little, too late. Pengguan is now the target. The Winter's Bite stacks up the Braum passive. Gritty takes the kill. A huge amount of gold over to Boomers over Zoomers, and they'll take the Dragon as well.
Very disheveled here from Flash Syndicate. It felt like everyone was walking into the river a different way. And also, like, I think the one benefit that Boz has is playing in tight corridors. Like, we watch this entire fight takes place in that top little river brush. Like, we're going to watch back what happens here, where Xin Zhao does get that ward up, is the one who gets caught ultimately. And he gets caught in this little brush area. And, I mean, you're playing into Ezreal, Wukong, Yasuo, and Zac, right? They benefit from all you guys being stuck in one squishy little area. And that's where they were stuck in here. And after you lose your Xin Zhao, you lose that, like, disruption that your team needs for your peel. And at that point, you're just going to get steamrolled. Even Skarner, like, Skarner had a hard time with this fight. I don't even think he had Impale up because it was just gone from that top fight. They were able to run through. And now this game's even up off that one pick play. I think the moment you see Xin get picked, you got to leave. You can't be staying there anymore. You got to be using your abilities, even your sums. Get out of that river. Without Xin, Xin right now is your front line in this early game. And he's not there for you if he's going to get picked like that.
Especially before this Fimbulwinter is stacked, as Jolts did opt for it first, not like a Heartsteel or a Warmonks or something else. So taking a little time before that first item is really online. Does have the heal cut as well, so we'll have something to do versus Mega Awesome Pig in this 1v1, but life's just rough for Jolts right now, and I don't know if you had a chance to read the awesome content that Dwam has put out for Vanquisher this week, but something that they noted for the Flash Syndicate versus Theory of Everything Absolute Zero matchup that they had last week was, what they noticed was when Jolts does well, Flash Syndicate tends to win, but they're looking on the bottom side right now. It's not important. Has made that rotate down. Pengguan will pick up that kill, and then grab the second one on to Ja Marquis as well. Good pickups for Flash Syndicate, but as I was saying, when Jolts is doing well, Flash Syndicate wins. If Jolts isn't doing well, Flash Syndicate loses. As now, overstaying your welcome is Gritty trying to defend that turret, but goes down, gives Madge another kill. That's 6 and 2. 2 items on this Varus already. This is a scary Varus.
Yeah, and I think the question with, like... Oh, my God, there's so much
Looking
fighting.
for this 1v1. The Arcane Storm does plenty of damage. The Death Laser as well. Deathfire Torch and the Deathfire Touch and the Blackfire Torch ticking away. One more auto. Picks it up with the Siphon Power.
We love Ghost.
Yeah, so much skirmishing.
We love Ghost. Ghost on Victor. It just makes that character so fast. But yeah, I think we've seen a little bit of overconfidence come out of Boomers on this like little section of the match where like they win a team fight and it's that, oh, we won a team fight so we can like win any fight. And unfortunately, the answer is you didn't win that team fight because your comp lends itself to skirmishes and 5v5. You won the team fight because you got a pick. You need people around. You have a lot of good options to continue to find those picks. I think you're going to win the game through finding those picks because your comp as a 5v5 in itself does not work well together. So
outnumbered fights being the name of the game.
Yeah, you need to be getting outnumbered fights, and we just took a bunch of 2v2s and 1v1s across the map and lost them all. So that tells you anything on the fly. It's, hey, don't do that. We lose even, we win odd. So don't take even. Don't take even anymore. We should be done with that. Like, we just need an objective up in this river. They are there first. This is like probably one of their better chance. They have 5 there. Skarner's not there. Skarner's TP only coming up now. This could be a good fight if they take it. I don't think Flash wants to be walking into this.
Yeah, it looks like it is just going to be given up, and now Mega Awesome Pig looking for the engage onto the back line. There's Homegrown Talent getting in with the last breath, but he's going to get deleted before he can get any extra damage off it. Madge pumping out the numbers on the back line. Varus is stacked up. The lethal tempo's there. Hart will pick up Jean Marquis, and Mega
Guys, we didn't pick up the Rift Herald.
Pig should get taken out as well. A triple kill for the Varus. The Rift Herald Eye still there. There's no way.
It's still there. It's not showing on the vision, but it is still there. Nobody picked it up.
You did anybody's inventory. Oh my God. They missed the
So-
Herald.
So one, that probably should have been a Boomers fight. And there were two things. One, it was just like not played very well, but also it was played very well from Not Important. I mean, Not Important soaked up so much of their damage in that like initial fight. You also see like the bit of the issue with this team, where Ezreal is not an all-in champion, and Yasuo and Zac all are. So Ezreal has no time to poke, finishes this Herald. His whole team is all in, and at this point he's like, well, I'm here to do damage. And they're like, well, we're already dead now. Like, look, Zac's in here. And like, it's probably just a take a Herald immediately. Fireping tries to take it, misses it, and then goes in. Ezreal's getting into this fight so late. He is your ADC at the end of the day, and he wants to poke, and we're letting him in so late that at this point, your whole front line's dead. What is Ezreal to do besides run away? And I mean, at this point, like, he's caught. The TP came in from Skarter because they waited long enough to pick that fight. It's just like, what are we doing there?
Sometimes you just gotta fight to fight, you know? Sometimes you just really want to force a 5v5, even if your composition isn't really fully for it.
I'm not opposed, but we didn't force it. We waited till Herald was done and Skarter TP was up, and then we went in. Realistically, Flash Syndicate should have had nothing on that play. Like, it's a 4v5 and your Skarner TP is not up, and we just kind of, we went in one by one. We did the action movie thing. Zac went in, and then Wukong went in, and then Braum went in, and then Ezreal went in. So
One objective fight to the next, not important. Now and they're in the front line. There's that elastic punch again. Jolt's hanging up a lot on this front line, but there's Fireping into the back line with the knockouts, but Badge still untouched on the Varus. A double kill over to Heart, a double kill for Madge, one over to Jolts as well. A clean ace for Flash Syndicate.
I hate to say it, but it really is just a draft gap. Like, don't get me wrong, Flash Syndicate is so clean. It's so clean. And, like, again, this is a game where you can win with any draft, but some are going to make it easier than others. And we just, our draft identity here is not what we're looking at. And now, like, at this point, 7k up. We're getting Baron. They got their first dragon. Like, stacking dragons was kind of Boomer's, like, way out of this. It still is, but, man, you need some defense. You need some gold into Ezreal. And there's so much gold coming out. There's heal cut coming out. There's armor coming up, but we can look at this fight again. To be fair, the engage looks kind of good. We're playing in the corridor, which is kind of where we want to be. But the issue is we're not here for the engage again, right? Like, here comes Wukong. He's going to enter this engage with the Zac. Ezreal has had no time to poke this out. Ezreal's so far away because he knows if he gets jumped on, he's dead. We get this engage. True Shot Barrage comes out, but Crescent Guard wasn't used yet, so all of our damage is kind of gone. Ezreal has no way into this fight, and his team is diving in. Now Ezreal's placed so close that he's just dead, because they have this all-in comp. He has no front line. And the other thing is, we have two frontliners in Wukong and Zac, and nobody's peeling for the Ezreal. We're playing all in, and nobody peels.
Hang on, so hey, what are we doing there? That's not the place to be. Killing spree now for Peng Wan, and with half of their front line down now, Boomers over Zoomers are going to be forced to give up this inner turret at the very least, I would assume, with the Baron buff, as Jolt's in an awkward position, stuck in the 1v2, has to flash out. Should be able to navigate his way out, but Fireping doesn't want to let him go, but in the meantime, his top side is going down. They really need this kill on Jolts. He's going to be able to get the Impale off and pick up at least some extra time with the Blast Code as well.
He's out.
Alongside the Fimbulwinter, he's out. And Greedy is still going to be chasing him down on this Ezreal, but guys, you got to look at your base. Yeah, you can pick up the kill, but you're going to lose the game for it. True Shot Barrage is going to go wide. Jolts is still just wasting so much time from this Ezreal.
He's gonna
and now
die.
He's the one in trouble. He went melee. One more auto should do it. Jolts will pick him up in the 1v1, and the base is in tatters. Boomers over Zoomers fall apart at the finish line, and Flash Syndicate are looking to just take an easy game one.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, from Flash Syndicate, we did everything we needed to do. There were a couple misplays here and there, but like in Masters, we were next to perfect. It was amazing showing from Flash Syndicate. To be honest, in my opinion, Flash Syndicate is one of these teams that are always really fun to watch. They keep things bloody, but they also keep things calculated. On the other side, there's a lot to desire from Boomers over Zoomers going to this next match. It is this best of 3 series. There's a lot I'd like to see changed from them. 1, we need a better draft. And 2, the last, 8 minutes of that game were pure tilt. We got a little bit of an advantage, and then we dropped it all in the name of we thought we could win, realized we weren't running the 1v1s, and from there, it was just tilt after tilt after tilt. I would love to hear the comms, because I can't imagine Gritty is taking a 1v1 with Jolts after Not Important leaves, and there isn't some anger happening when we go into melee rage and get stunned up for 3 years.
Yeah, it definitely felt like they had a couple of those early fights winning early on. They had those few Dragon skirmishes. They had that one big team fight where it was just great success for them. They found the perfect thing for their comp. They got that pick. They took the unfair fight. But some of that was also Flash Syndicate playing a little, I don't want to say cocky, but a little cocksure. They were very confident in taking team fights before their team was really online, and I think the real big deal for them, as much as Madge on this Varus was playing out of his mind, out of his gourd, an incredibly well played Varus game, Penguin on this Victor was pumping out damage in these team fights, just uncontested arcane storms and death lasers. On this dive composition that had to be so close, it makes it so easy for Victor to just pump out those numbers.
He also was like such good late game insurance. We didn't get to the late game point because of what happened with all the skirmishes in the middle of the game. But if you get late game, Crippy is like getting in that 10-12 kill range, and he's going to end up taking over the game from even Varus at that point. Like, he is their AP damage. He was the big like X factor of their team compared to locking in Yasuo true damage. Also, I think it's worth noting, Heart, as much as like it's easy to say, and like you are 100% right, Match played out of his mind. But Heart did so much for those early game kills, those early game skirmishes. And the one thing that like Boz wasn't doing compared to Flash Syndicate, peeling. And Heart was peeling that entire game. He was finding the picks, and he was peeling for Varus every chance he got. And that's why Varus was able to get so many kills early, which by the time we got late game, I mean, Heart didn't really need to peel anymore. Varus was just on the clock, bang, 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 winning every fight. But like, the early game, there is so many of those early plays that came from Heart as a support, knowing when to engage, knowing the fights we could take, knowing the matchup, and saying, hey, like, they're playing this poke comp, they're a little too far in our face. Let's try it. Let's try it again. Oh, that didn't work. Play a little bit less aggro, but we'll try it again. They adapted very quickly on the fly. That's another thing that, like, I think Vanquisher teams are great at. When you realize something works, adapting goes so far. And I think Flash Syndicate did a great job this game at just doing that and making sure they don't throw their lead.
Yeah, and now we're going to have to see if Boomers and Resumers can adapt as we get into the draft for game number 2. We're going to cut to a short break while we get that all set up. We'll be right back on the other side of this, so we'll see you after this.
Hello, ladies and
back,
gentlemen.
everybody.
Sorry, my
here.
PvP brain took over. We got a question for you. We got a question for you from the back. Is romance and smut different? Answer in the chat. Debate
yes,
now.
they are.
I don't
Look,
think so.
There's a lot of specifics we could get into, but we had to get into specifics of the matchup we're watching between Boomers over Zoomers and Flash Syndicate. I'm still Brady. We've got Romeo here for the draft of game 2. Oh boy, we're jumping right into the draft. You can see those.
That was great.
You can see those fearless picks on the bottom are going to be locked away. We will not be seeing any Varus's, Ezreal's, Victor's, etc. As it is also going to be teams retaining the same side, as Aurora is going to get banned away. So far, bans, so same.
Yeah, Aurora banned, Pantheon banned. Chat seems to agree with your take that they're different. I don't think so, but I'll try to leave it alone for now.
Please, I'll educate you after the stream.
You're gonna take it, get taken out.
Oh boy. Things already going great here for game number 2. Pantheon and Aatrox are going to get banned away, like you said, Yorick as well. So, Boomers over Zoomers, we mentioned at the end of the last game, they need to make some adaptations here, which is something that we like seeing out of Vanquisher teams. They tend to do it fairly well. So my question is, with this blue side first pick, they opted for the Ezreal game 1. Now what are they doing for game 2 that is going to make this difference for them?
I mean, and the question too is, like, we played 2 comp split. We played a poke comp and an all-in comp. I think step 1 is just getting on the same page. We've locked in Sion here. Interesting choice. I can't imagine that's a Sion jungle. It could be. It exists.
I'd be surprised.
It's not good. It's not. I keep seeing it played in solo queue, and I'm just like, if this comes in a comp match, I lose my mind. But now you have an issue, right? Because Sion is kind of an awful blind, and they've locked in Trundle. And now, if you're Sion, you either go jungle or you don't play the game.
I feel like you're not really playing the game either way, as Yunara is also going to get locked in, which is a great pick versus the Sion. Just has the on-hit magic damage, which is very difficult to itemize against, likes the on-hit items like Blade of the Rune King, Kraken Slayer, things that tend to make Sion have a really bad time. Boomers over Zoomers are going to lock in Ashe, which I think in a vacuum does have a decent matchup versus Yunara, able to have the range and the slows on a champion that kind of relies on that movement speed steroid. I imagine we'll just see Seraphine locked in here, as this is like the go-to bottom lane pairing. Yeah, that is going to be locked in.
It's a great bot lane pairing. We have no damage, and we have 2 picks left, which means we need some sort of jungler who does damage.
Ooh, Blitzcrank.
Okay, so Blitz, I mean, let's face it, Blitz is saying we're flipping the game based on how good we are at it, right? Like, I mean, Heart is either going to pop off,
it's the ego.
Gonna hook
It's
Seraphine
the ego.
and Ashe and win the game for Yunara, which, I mean, after last game, wouldn't be surprised. Or, we're done. We're doomed, and we've locked in the most useless support pick in the game. Like, it's one or the other. I mean, right now, though, I think what we're seeing on a Flash Syndicate that makes the Blitzcrank pick, like, low-key really good, outside of just Heart is good at game. Jolt is locked in Trundle. That Trundle's going top. Unless they lock in a different top pick, in which case, Trundle only goes jungle if that Sion isn't going top, I think. And I think you have a split push comp with the Blitz. You lock in 2 other people who are good at skirmishing. You rely on picks.
I have a mid laner here.
Yeah, but you rely on picks, and then you force them to either go to your side lane or take the 4v4. I think that's what Flash Syndicate is doing, and they're playing based on mistakes, and you can capitalize on mistakes so easily with the split push comp. And I think Trundle is one of the most underrated split pushers in the game. If it does go jungle, it's fine. It's still good, but now, like, even with, like, Gritty getting locked in, right? Which, I mean, I don't think this is the best silence game in the world. Like, what ults do you really have that are all that good?
Blitzcrank ult is high-key, low-key really good for the passive and for the active.
Is that Sylas jungle?
I think it might be Sion jungle, unfortunately, with Sylas mid Rumble top.
I mean, I've seen Sylas and Rumble also go jungle.
Yeah, I think they're interchangeable here, but my assumption is Rumble to match up versus the supposed Trundle top, but now with that Trundle moving into the jungle with Cassante being locked in, I mean, Boomers over Zoomers, they drafted themselves damage. Sylas, Rumble are 2 really good damage dealers. I'm a little bit worried about low physical damage, but I think Ashe has been underrated for how much damage she actually does when you build her correctly. The crit build with Hex Optics and Infinity Edge has been shredding frontline and backline. So it's not as though Boomers over Zoomers is lacking damage per se. I'm a little bit worried about their damage profile. I think it's very easy for Flash Syndicate to just stack Magic Resist, Force of Nature, Cane of Rooker, and these items are already so good for the champions that like to build them.
And again, and like Gotcha saying in chat, Trundle, underutilized pick. When you have 180 threat in a Trundle, if Trundle touches you, you have no AD damage anymore, right? Like, you just reduce that. I mean, is Trundle hopping on Ashe? Only if things go insanely wrong. That said, what scares me most about Boomer's comp is if I'm hoping this is a stylish jungle. However, I mean, I think Sion into Cassandra is probably better than Sion into Trundle. And if you put that Sylas in the jungle, I think you have a bit of a better time. You can go Rumble into Ahri. I think is that okay? I feel like that's okay. My fear of a Sion jungle, my fear on a Sion jungle is, what does a Sion jungle do? What does a Sion jungle do?
Far, and you pray that your team doesn't lose.
Exactly. It's so low elo. It's like, yeah, I'll lock a Nash's in Platinum solo queue. I'm not locking Nash's in Vanquisher, where teams have communication, right? And on top of that, like, you already know the Trundle's going to go wherever the Sion goes. So you lock in Sylas Rumble, and I think the other thing you're kind of hoping for, if we put the Sion on top, Trundle goes jungle. Trundle has to go jungle at this point, right? Like, you're not doing Cassandra jungle. That's insane.
Cassandra jungle, unless you're doing like Ahri support, Cassandra Blitzcrank jungle, but
I do think you can go Sion top here. I think it's like a skill matchup more than anything, and then you can go Sylas jungle. I think Sylas jungle is good into the Trundle specifically. It's not. I think that's a mistake. I genuinely think putting that Sion in the jungle is not good.
This is apparently a Fire Ping special. Apparently his highest master champion, at the very least on this account, by a wide margin, according to our producers.
So we're playing for comfort. Okay. If we're playing for comfort, that's
I can respect that a little bit more, but I'm looking at this Flash Syndicate composition. Trundle Pillar stopping Sion ultimate. Trundle Pillar stopping a lot of what Sion likes to do. Cassandra stopping what Sion likes to do. I think life's going to be difficult for Fire Ping, and we're going to have to see how he navigates it as we're going to step out of the Rift here for game number 2. It's Boomers over Zoomers. It's Flash Syndicate. And Flash Syndicate really want to find themselves a clean 2-0 victory this week.
I will say, the one thing I like about Boomer's comp is it at least plays well together, right? Like, Ashe and Seraphine have that lockdown. Sion has that lockdown. And you can just front to back with this comp and feel good. You can find a pick with this comp and feel good. The damage numbers, I agree, are off. If like, even with Ashe damage, it's like, if she gets ahead, it's great. If Ashe gets behind, I think you lose the game. Again, I think it's one of those things where you have another 180 champion thing. But if Ashe doesn't get behind in this Blitzcrank, we can find good plays late game. And I mean, I just made the top 10 plays of the week video, and one of the top plays is a team that's down like 6,000 gold. Seraphine clicks R, and they win the fight. So at the end of the day, I mean, we're nerfing Xin Zhao next patch, and Seraphine's being untouched, and I'm like, okay. I mean, Seraphine Ashe gets another week of being like the best combo in the bot lane. So like, I do think like bot-wise, they're doing great. Yep, and it's like, sure, why not? So like, I think on the surface level, their comp is not bad. I think that Trundle pick was huge for them. I think Trundle will annihilate their front line. And then, like, I guess Sylas can reverse Trundle ult, which is, like, kind of good, but Sylas is in jungle. So how much are they really going to interact?
Yeah, I'm concerned for Boomers over Zoomers composition, but I think their composition does have the ability to, through Seraphine, through Ashe, just kind of rock the game, like you said in the video you made, which, not here to plug, but you should go watch it over in the Titan Esports Discord. If you look under the content chat, you'll be able to find it. It's a great little video. I got to watch the whole thing. It was fantastic.
Appreciated.
But I think my biggest question mark this game is Heart on this Blitzcrank, because I do play a lot of support. And I don't want to be mean to Heart, but Nautilus is a champion that can provide a little bit of a crutch to support players who don't really know what they're doing on Engage. It's the reason why it's kind of my permaban in solo queue, because if somebody gets autofilled support and they lock in Nautilus, they don't have to be good, they just have to play the champion. Now on Blitzcrank, which is a much more difficult to execute champion, I really want to see what Heart can do. I think this is a litmus test for how good are you into this double range composition. Because Blitzcrank, if you miss your hook, if you step out of position, you will get punished hard. You don't have as much of a safety net as something like Nautilus does.
Yeah, I mean, without a doubt, like, it is that all or nothing pick. And I think with the play style of Heart, I think it's a good pick. My fear, like you say, is we have the potential to be punished if we're doing it too many like over-engaged plays. And on top of that, we won last game very decisively. Blitz tends to be a pick I find teams pull out when it's like we're in a dire situation, or we're in a best-of-5 series where we can afford to lose game, and we want to get a cheese win, right? Like, something's not working, we need to flip the momentum, or we want that early momentum, so we're going to lock in a Blitz and do weird stuff. Because Blitz means you have to play the game differently, right? He's like a champion like an Evelyn or a Shaco. Oh. And you kind of have to play a little differently. We do have a bit of a meeting of the brutes right now. Oh my god.
Yeah, Charm's going to land. Fire Ping now in a bit of trouble. Has to flash away, but that pillar is still there, which is going to be Fire Ping is going to be forced to rotate all the way around through the minion wave as well. The Ignite, one more auto, flashing away from the chains. Not important. Finds first blood.
Beautiful. I mean, one, Trundle into Scion. You wanted that Scion not to be... And I get people are like jungle matchups with less, but they still are. Like, you meet in the jungle frequently, and Trundle's going to win that every time. On top of that, that flash... I mean, Trundle flashed those chains at, like, the perfect moment. Beautiful flash to get that kill. I think that could be a sign of what's to come with the Scion jungle. Because it doesn't matter how good Fire Ping is at it when the matchup is awful. The matchup just, like, not fun. And, like, I'd be sad by it, too. So, like, I'm looking right now. So, in our diamond here on u.gg, Scion, and again, not a lot of matches got off of him because we play Scion jungle. But...
Shocker.
28.5% win rate into Trundle. Because Trundle, it does what Trundle wants. Like, even the back right now, Longsword into Tiamat. Like, oh god. So, yeah, like, it's scary. Yeah. It's scary right now for them. The thing with the Blitz that I was trying to talk about, though, is Blitz is a champion that can flip the game on its head because you can land crazy hooks. But it's also a champion that if that hook's down for 20 seconds, you don't exist. And it makes that... And I thought, like, if you put Trundle on the top line here, which obviously they didn't because Scion went jungle, I think, like, that Trundle was just wherever Scion goes, which is still correct. You have less of a split push comp now, and I think Blitz accelerates in a split push comp, or a pick comp. And I think this is still, like, can be a pick comp. You do have, like, Ari Charm to go with it as well. But I do feel like the Blitz is less useful with the Trundle as a jungle.
Yeah, I think there's definitely less opportunities for Blitzcrank to actually do what he wants to do because you aren't taking those unfair side lane fights. You're not trying to 2v1 on the split, and you definitely don't want your jungler split pushing when there is an important objective fight, because as soon as you see Trundle anywhere that isn't the objective, hey, we're just going to start the objective. Speaking of objectives, it is going to be that first Ocean Dragon over to Flash Syndicate, so coming out to a fairly commanding lead this early in the game, already up about 1,000 gold. And where that gold lead is, I think, is also important as... Ooh, Fire Ping will steal away the Scuttle Crab as well. What a meanie.
We'll take a Scuttle Steal. I mean, on top of the gold, you know what you get? You get a mental buff. Now that jungle needs to go blabbering it for Scuttle Crabs for the rest of the game. It's the rule of the jungle. You steal the Scuttle Crab, the tilt. I've thrown like 2 games in this week because somebody stole my Scuttle Crab. And it's, honestly, team diff, right? Like, team should have rotated to the Scuttle Crab. Am I wrong?
You know what? You're so right. Every support and every AD carry and every mid laner should just abandon their lane,
through jungle.
lose
Agreed.
XP, lose
Agreed.
CS,
Hard
just
agree.
play for that level 6 Scuttle Crab, because the second Scuttle Crab is still very important for getting that first level 6, or at least it usually is, but it does feel like Fire Ping is behind enough in the pathing that Not Important actually managed to get that level 6 first, and now Fire Ping is going to be in some trouble here on the red buff. Decimating Smash charging, but Penguin has the charm to deny it, and that's another kill over to Flash Syndicate, given over to Penguin this time. As Not Important will steal away the red buff as well, and now Homegrown Talent with that stolen Ori ultimate, trying to get something done, but the Subjugate is just going to be Not Important too! Damn tanky! Heartfix on the last hit, and Flash Syndicate screaming ahead in this early game.
Everything that we said about Scion and the Trundle draft just happened. Yeah, like, here's the thing, right? We had an invade happen in, I want to say Ascendant on Friday, where it was like a level 2 Xin Zhao invading on first clear because it was Xin Zhao trying to do Xin Zhao things. And it went horribly wrong and costed them the majority of the game. And on that thing, I said, like first 2 clears, you probably don't want to invade. But when you are level 6, you've finished your second clear, and you're into a Scion where you can walk and click the alt button, and you have 3 pushing lanes, that's what a good invade looks like. You have Pry on both sides, you walk in, you're up a level, you're going to win. You know you're going to win. And unfortunately, when that happens, like as you get into higher tiers, what you got to do as a jungler is to get your laners to ward for you, or like back out when you know they're on the same side of the map. Because that's when you're down 2 prio and he's a level ahead of you. you know that's coming. And it's a Trundle into a sign. You know that he wants to probably invade you the rest of this game. That's his goal. Keep the tempo and invade you. That's going to keep happening. So at this point, I'm hoping to see more defensive vision come out of Boomers and Zoomers, and I would expect to see Fire Ping drop a lot more of his camps.
Pingguan. This is a little bit of health on this trade, but we'll trade decently well back with that Foxfire as well. The Kingslayer gets homegrown talent, a good chunk of health back, so ends up winning out on that trade in the 1v1 at the very least. But looking at the CS and looking at the goal between the two of them, it's so difficult for homegrown talent to actually make something happen in this lane. As speaking of making things happen, Jolt's trying to get something done here versus the Rumble. Does have the double Negatron cloak in inventory, so he's not going to be taking a lot of damage from the Rumble at this stage of the game. As the tier 2 boots first, not the Magic Pen ones. Yeah, Rumble's not going to be doing too much.
No, not at all. I like Swiftness too, but is that
Jolts is not feeling too punished, but Jean-Marquis is on the rotate. Jolts does have the all-out, doesn't get him all the way over the wall. Meantime, the bottom side, Gritty finds Heart. They'll get that done, but Jolts will pick up one, fails the flash over the wall. Jolts, don't worry, nobody saw it. You weren't on stream in front of all these people. Oh, that's rough.
Yeah, I mean, Boomers made a very, very good play here. I think it seemed Ash got a kill on the Blitz off screen. I am assuming it was off the back. We actually are going to go able and see this. It looks like Trundle missed hook.
Oh, arrow.
Yep. Barely under tower range. And that's like, that hurts. That hurts. You're like a step under. But again, you missed the hook. You're not a champion anymore. And ultimately, that's what happened. Crystal Arrow is going to be able to capitalize on it. And that's the thing that makes Seraphine Ash so strong, right? Those Crystal Arrows, you can land from halfway across the lane and spell disaster on champions that may step too far forward. Someone like a Trundle, someone like a Blitzcrank. That's what the Ash is going to be good at picking apart. Ash now has a kill. Ash wants to stay ahead in this game as the sole AD threat, really. They get Rift Herald here, or Grubs here, sorry. The push should be a little bit stronger. I don't really know how effective Grubs are onto this team. It's fine. I don't think there's a lot they do with it, unfortunately, because, I mean, the nature of their team is they're probably pushing 4 or 5 after team fights.
Marquis, I don't think you want to be here. Unfortunately, got launched over the wall by his AD carry. Has to lose his flash. Oh, if this was solo queue, I know where I'm going next, and it's not bottom lane.
I think it's so funny that Hart's seen this drop in front of him, and he goes, "Is this a bait? Am I being baited here? Because I'm alone and my team's in the jungle, but why would Seraphine hop this? Am I being baited? I don't know." So he doesn't hook her for a minute. And he goes, "Ari, can you pull up?" And Ari starts walking. And goes, sure. And they go in on it and realize, nope, that was not a bait. That was just a mistake. And no, it's just funny. I love confused support combat where it's I don't even know if Blitz wins or Seraphine wins that. It's probably a close fight in isolation, but whose team is gonna get there first? Was this planned or not? This is so weird. When do you see that?
Looking for the all-out onto Pig. Does have the unstoppable for that charge. Jolt's looking for the all-out. Gets the Utopia, strikes one more auto. He'll pick up the kill. And now with the red buff, he might be able to find Fire Pig 2 flashes over the Utopia strikes. Gets himself out of their homegrown talent, finds the last hit. But with the jungler showing topside, it is going to be the second dragon to flash Syndicate.
Cassante does Cassante things. That's Cassante. Heart, though,
He's
right
got
now.
resistances.
Heart
Now dive on the bottom
things.
side.
No!
Gets away from the hook. The charm is going to land, and that's going to delete the AD carry. Jean-Marquis now stuck under turret. Does have homegrown talent here on the teleport. Stolen Subjugate. They might look for Madge, who has ascended. Looking for a little bit more damage. Some poke under turret, but without the wave, the dive is going to dissipate.
I'm fearing for Heart on this Blitzcrank pick. We've seen 3 hooks on camera. None of them have landed. There we go.
There's
one has landed.
But there's the Subjugate. Homegrown talent will be able to strive for a while, but Madge pumping out the damage. Ooh, a big turret shot though, and the arrow went away! Heart gets tagged and takes his AD carry down with him. Oh, it's a disaster. It's making a disaster. It's Fire Pig in his own jungle. I've seen this play before, and it did not end well for the Scion. He gets taken down, and not important escapes from the red buff again.
What an interesting switch from last game. Last game, Gritty and Marquis, not really players. And to be fair, you can't blame that one on Gritty. However, this game, it's so flipped. Apparently there was a fight up here that we might have missed. Jolts.
This is
back to the...
This is back a while ago.
To be fair, Cassate doing Cassate things. Rumble goes for the ult. Jolt was lucky to like be on the off edge of it. I think the one key thing that like stops Jolt from hitting the full 2v2 is Scion Flash. Scion did a very like talented flash there. And then here, I mean, this play goes so much better if the hook lands, because then you can use all your stuff on diving the silenced Seraphine after and not be under tower range. And I think ultimately you take that kill, you leave and you back, right? You push that wave and you back. We decide to stay. There's for I think one of the tower plates that was still up. But we go so deep when we know Crystal Arrow exists. And one of the things with Ashe Seraphine,
it's a straight line.
one of the things with Ashe Seraphine is it's just, if you're on the map, Ashe can arrow you. The unfortunate truth. If you're on the map, Ashe can arrow you. And you need to play, it's like a Warwick almost, right? Where a Warwick, if you are low health, Warwick is going to be there. If you are low health, Ashe can arrow you. It's the same as a Super Mega Death Rocket.
All out, over the wall. Okay, forced to use that flash away. Not important in Peng 1 on the way, but a little too late for the rotate. But yeah, it's like Warwick, it's like Evelyn, you have to respect it. Speaking of respect, Peng 1, now onto Hungry Town, is forced to use his own Spirit Rush. Too many dashes on this screen for my liking. Stun lands onto Fire Ping, and that's another death for this poor Scion. Bullied out of his own jungle again. Because it is just going to be the blue buff taken by Not Important, and it just doesn't feel like Ping gets to exist in this game.
There might be a dive setup here as well. We have Heart in the area. If there's a good hook land, he's going to
No
go
flash,
through
no
the wall
ultimate.
Oh, he's had. Okay. I was just saying.
Thought about it. You considered it.
Heart, I like you and I respect the hustle, but sometimes we're cooking too much and it's getting burnt. You know what I mean? Like maybe preheat the oven to 400 instead of 425. Oh, he knows.
They're looking for Heart's going to start tanking the turret. The pillar's going to set it up beautifully, and there's going to be no moving allowed for Omega. Awesome pick. Madge now in the 1v2 on the bottom side, taking a bit of poke, but no threat of the dive with no wave. Excellently executed by Flash Syndicate.
Yeah, I mean, what do you do there? There's nothing Omega can do. I mean, if you scout it, maybe you TP away, but then you probably still just get hooked. It doesn't matter. I think the one thing Boomers maybe does better is set up a dive on the bot side better. Like they're up top. You can try to go for an encore combo, but of course Ashe Arrow is still down, right, from that earlier play. So it is a little difficult. It's unfortunate Yunara only lost a wave for that kill. I think Flash Syndicate just did everything right there. This is the thing with Scion Jungle, right? You can't really defend yourself. It's so hard. And we've drafted lanes that get pushed into besides bot lane. And bot lane still has been suffering a bit of a tough time because of how much pressure has been put on it.
Yeah, and a lot of that pressure is coming from the jungle. It's been Not Important, allowed to kind of just own the map because Fire Ping doesn't have any pressure, didn't have any pressure pre-level 6, and now post-level 6 because of the invades, because of the continued pressure from Not Important, from Pengwan, from Heart. Hasn't really been allowed to have a jungle for a good chunk of time at this point.
Yeah, and it's just going to get worse and worse as the game goes on, right? Like, Trundle's not getting any weaker. Trundle's going to still have Subjugate, and the more armor you get, the more that Subjugate helps Trundle and not you.
The more armor, the more health. Every defensive stat just makes Trundle stronger. They've got the engage onto Heart, who tried to get a hook off, but just forced to flash away instead. A little bit of a scuffed engage from Flash Syndicate, but Boomers over Zoomers fight it off beautifully.
I think the worst thing of this Flash Syndicate comp is starting to be this hardened blitz. I was expecting good things because I've seen the Nautilus. Heart's style lends itself well to hook champions, but hook champions that have defensive tools. I think a Thresh could have been better for him here. The more I look at this.
I'm not going to say that I said it with the Nautilus, but it does feel like it lends itself to be a bit more forgiving than the Blitzcrank does, and we've seen a couple of good hooks from Heart. I want to see another one here. He finds the right target as we say it. Marquis is taken down. No Seraphine ultimate. No encore will come for Boomers over Zoomers. This fight is going to go all in favor of Flash Syndicate. A double for Pengwan. Jolts is going to pick up one more, and he's got a couple of stacks on the Spirit Rush. He's looking for some extra damage on Gritty. Gets the pullback on the Spirit Rush. Flashes away from the charm, but it's in a straight line. Dominating for the Ahri. Heart will die under turret. No, he actually lives. Never mind. Called it too early. He survives that one. A beautiful hook to start the fight, and what looks to be the dominoes that should end the game for Boomers over Zoomers.
So as much as I'm like, Blitzcrank, Heart, maybe not the best pick, Blitzcrank is still that champion that you make one good play and win your team the game. Right? Like, you get the hook, you get the pick, you win the team fight. We've reverse caster cursed it. Good job, Heart. And now they're on Soul Point. It's Inferno Dragon. Your team blows people up really, really well. Oh, it's really rough for Boomers to get back in. I think, honestly, their best way back in it is maybe a Scion stealing that dragon and just farming for dear life, or finding a pick on Ari or Trundle beforehand. I think the other thing that I think I seen there is that Silas stole Trundle ult, ulted the Trundle. But the thing about the Silas Trundle matchup, and I feel like this is a thing that like is obvious when you play Trundle, but it's not always the most obvious thing in the world, is whoever subjugates second wins. If Trundle subjugates Silas second, he wins. And it's Silas subjugates Trundle second. So if you steal that subjugate ult, what you're really doing is not using it, really. Unless like you do it and then steal it on a Cassante, it's fine. But even then, you still need to wait for Trundle to subjugate you or someone else. Because otherwise, not only does he get your stats, but he gets the person you subjugated stats as well.
Yeah,
and he becomes
it's similar
unkillable.
to the Sejuani with Aftershock matchup versus Trundle, where you have to be careful of when you activate that rune, as Marquis in a bad spot, a great pillar is going to take him down. Madge picks up that last hit fire ping, gets a good decimating smash off, but now Madge in the front line, diving into the back line, looking for a little bit more damage. He stays alive! A triple kill for the Yunara, and Mega Awesome Pig is just too little too late to have any influence on the fight. Penguin goes godlike, and Flash Syndicate are going to cruise their way into the base of Boomers Over Zoomers.
Wallet gap. If Madge can be there like that, you know it's a wallet gap. They're even playing in the corridor you want to be in. They're in your jungle, where Encore is so oppressive, and we can't find it. And it's not really at fault anymore. You're down 13k gold, right? At this point, it is a wallet gap. There's not a lot you can do. Herald's in your base. I mean, Blitz is just running around with it for fun. It's so rough. I want to say there's a way back in the game. But, like, look at this. Blitz missed his hook here. I mean, Gritty and Marquise are in a bit of a rough position. Scion, things are going one way, and they're just not. The Encore comes a little early because the pillar forces it out. And now it's from there, you lose your tools. Now it's time to leave. I think the biggest problem we're seeing out of Boomers that they need to fix after this week is we keep committing to fights that are already lost. It's okay to lose a fight and cut your losses. And we're not seeing that. Even there, like, Rumble could be going back under tower, but he doesn't. He chooses to go in. Ari could have left. Ari chooses to go in. Just because someone gets picked doesn't mean we need to take the fight.
Boomers Over Zoomers are going to have to create a miracle from here. Down just about 11,500 gold. Soul point on the line in a minute 50, but that's not the objective we're worried about right now. Baron started up, and there's just no way for them to get up and contest.
No, again, Scion maybe can unstoppable charge in on like a blue ward from Ari and like take a look. But I think that's really the only thing we'll be able to see from a Baron steal. And they do kind of need to win the game, because otherwise Baron minions are just going to crash through that base. I think we do have a bit of a freeze on both sides.
Our feet froze for a second there, but we are good.
Back. Baron is
taken by
no
not
way in.
important.
Surely they
Looking
leave.
for a contest late, but Homegrown Talent over the wall with the dash tries to get in onto Crispy Pang 1, but the Zanyas will keep him alive. And Magged, again, look at the Yunara on the back line. Yes, you get one shutdown, but the Yunara is still free firing, and Jolt in the meantime is 1v2ing your bottom lane. The Topo strikes finds a couple, and now the all-out means Gritty and Marquis are just forced to run away, but there is nowhere they can go. Their base is already in tatters, and they teleport into the base as well from Jolts. This is just support bullying at this point. They're just going to look to end the game. It's going to be Flash Syndicate 2-0 on the week. An excellent series win for them.
Yeah, Flash Syndicate looked really dominant. I mean, this is the telling of what you need to do at Vanquisher. And yes, can you say there are small micro things that Flash can fix? Yes, but at the end of the day, they played as a team. They drafted around each other. They made good counter picks. They made great macro decisions. And at the end of the day, I think Lien is like one of those ADCs that you need to watch out for. And even more than that, not important.
That was Madge.
Sorry,
that was their emergency substitute.
I meant Madge, their E-sub. Honestly, a support that they should consider subbing him. But not important, I think, as a jungler. We were talking about how Jolts is like, if he's ahead, they win. Jolts did a bit this game, just like surviving. But this game really felt like the bottom four. It really felt like we were seeing a lot out of the bottoms of the map so that Jolts could just do what Jolts need to do. Jolts was going to saddle on some like tanks. And I mean, he showed a lot in this Cassante game. But we've seen so much out of the other players of Flash Syndicate in week 2. And we showed how diverse this team can be about who's the carry. And I think not important in both these games. did a brilliant job at affecting the map, did a brilliant job at helping get Maj ahead alongside Hart. And I think when we look at stuff like that, you got to question what lanes do we want to bully when we go into future matches. But here's a replay from the Baron fight that ended the game. They're not ultimate. Here, Ash is late. Casante's kind of blocking Ash off, as you can see from the map. They're going gold at the right time from Crippy, forcing them to like kind of play. And he dodges the encore, went further and landed on Match as well. And from there, Match just has the peeling they need. Match is being peeled by Hart, is being peeled by Not Important. Both games did a great job peeling. And now Jolts, I mean, Cassante on your backline, not much you can do. But Jolts, again, wasn't shown on camera, but Jolts did such a good job at making sure Ash couldn't get to this fight. Ash was trying to walk to the jungle, but Cassante was just sitting there. It was like, I don't need to join this fight. I'm keeping your AD damage away. And they don't have AD damage into a Trundle. Into a Cassante, they only have AP damage. And there's been, I think there was a Spirit Visage when the Trundle come at the end of the game, or some magic resist on him. Maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, he was starting the Spirit Visage, right? He has the Spectre's Visage, which gives you some magic resist, right? We're building towards that magic resist. We have Cassante, who just bought the Null Magic Mantle, or Negatron Cloak, which gives you that large. It's a lot. Yeah, there are lots of camps of thought out there that is just, you don't need to buy a magic resist item right away. You sit on an early Negatron Cloak the same way you sit on a Bramble Vest, and then you're not taking a lot of AP damage. And because Ash isn't able to get that fight, those items are doing even more. And on top of other things going right, like we said, Crippy going golden, preventing the Encore from hitting Maj. A lot of things went right to that fight. I think when you're drafting around Ash, you need to play around Ash, which is your only AD, and we didn't walk with her to get to that fight. So it's either we try to steal or we walk with Ash. We need to make a pick. I'm all for taking a last stand at Baron when you know Baron's going to end you the game. That's fine. I love when we see an early last stand that isn't in your base, because once it's in your base, it's probably over. But if we're going to commit to the last stand, we need to commit as 5.
Yeah, having all 5 members so key, and especially with a composition like this where you have Rumble, Ashe, Seraphine, the Wombo combo that really relies on catching multiple members, taking the fights in the corridors we mentioned earlier, where they had 1 or 2 decent showings, but it just felt like a little bit of tilt from game 1 just being that sort of dominating. I mean, a team comes in with an E-sub that they had to get literally same day. You waive the bans because you are gentlemanly, you take a good faith there, and you play the series out, and you're expecting, okay, they're down one of their better players, Lien, who is one of the better AD carries in Vanquisher. We know Lien is one of these top 5 guys pretty consistently. You have them E-sub in that guy out, and you're like, okay, should be a much easier time. We should be able to handle this matchup. Flash Syndicate's a scary opponent, but down one of their core members, we should be fine. And you just get kind of BTA in game number 1. After a couple of decent fights, you just don't have the showing, and games like that, the mentality can really spiral out of control for game number 100%. 2. And it did feel like the comfort picks that came out for them in this draft just didn't end up fitting the kind of composition they were looking for. Like the Scion, yes, it's comfort pick for Fireping, but you need a composition that can work with it. You need winning lanes. You need pushing lanes. You need lanes that can support the Scion before the Scion supports them. And we just didn't see that this game.
Yeah. I think the number one, unfortunately, the number one note I give if they watch the stream back or even their games back, get a draft coach. Get a draft coach if you can. If not, sit down and run some mock drafts with each other. Look at the other team's pools. Have somebody, get a friend, play the other rosters in mock drafts, and just see what you can do. Because I don't think these are bad players by any means. I think they had so many good showings. Gritty was hitting some amazing arrows. I think Tamarki's had some interesting support plays that, interesting in a good way, where, they could have worked out well, they just happened not to. And Fireping, I've seen Fireping before. I know Fireping can play jungle. And I don't think as much as we played badly, as it is, we were doomed from the start. Game 1, if they won, it would be because Flash Syndicate played badly. Game 2, their comp is a bit better. There's good ideas. Ashe Seraphine's a great combo. I think the Scion Blind, though, is what cost you that match, because the Trundle pick just ended up having so much value, right? Because no matter what you did that game, you drafted things that maybe on paper are good, or on paper we're comfortable with. But the Silas Trundle matchup, we watched Silas ult Trundle first. If you don't know how to play that matchup, you lose. That matchup is a skill matchup between Trundle and Silas in a vacuum. On top of that, you have Sylas into a team that has really no good ults for Sylas. Like, you're right, there's the Blitz. I guess
Blitzcrank
there's
and Ari
Spirit
are
Rush.
Blitzcrank and Ari
okay.
are good enough, but when you're looking at a Sylas pick, good enough isn't good enough.
No, like, we're not seeing anything. And when you need a pushing lane and you're playing Sylas and Ari, either you win the matchup or you're stuck under your turret, which then Sion couldn't play the game. But yeah, Sion blind as well. We see Sion blind. I think that blind pick only works if your top plays Sion. And I think if your top plays Sion, you send Sion top every time, because Sion in the jungle to Trundle is going to get dominated, because Trundle into Sion, Trundle wins every time. So I think the other thing is, if this hasn't already happened, Mega needs to learn Sion if Sion's coming out more. I think that's the other like big thing for like draft 2. But again, S5, they're good. They could maybe work at like positioning as a team a little bit better as well. But individually and like ideas wise, there's some really, really good stuff happening from Boomers. I wouldn't be surprised to see them make playoffs. And if training and boot camp goes well throughout the season, they're not dead and out. Flash Syndicate, on the other hand, I mean, if this team makes finals, it's not a shock. Flash Syndicate, every time I watch them, they get better and better. And this season, it feels like a season where like we're at the end of the season calling Flash Syndicate Vanquisher champions. I'm not surprised.
Yeah, Flash Syndicate is a team that we expect to be good every season. So I think for Boomers, especially with all the potential that this team has, taking a loss in week 2 out of week 7, you're feeling a little bit nervous about like, okay, there's not as big of a schedule. We don't have as much time to get our stuff together, but you do still have time. You can take a loss or 2 and still make playoffs at the end of the split. So there's plenty of time to fix other mistakes. There's plenty of time to take advantage of other teams' mistakes, especially because Flash Syndicate, for as well as they played, were not perfect. This team has weaknesses. They can be beaten. No team should go into their matchup with Flash Syndicate and say, we'll just take the FF this week. We can't beat them.
Absolutely.
But for as much as we could continue to talk about Flash Syndicate and Movers Over Zoomers, we're going to call it there. Thank you all so much for showing up for this great week of Titan Vanquisher action. I've been Verdi, that's been Romeo. Romeo, we appreciate you so much stepping in when we needed you most. Our producer and observer, Shivam, and Anti, making sure things run as smoothly as possible in the background. Again, thank you all so much for joining us. We'll catch you next week for more Vanquisher action. Have a good night.